In the quiet stillness of the soul, where divine ideas are born, there lies a radiant law of supply, unfailing, unchanging, and abundant. It is the unseen river that flows beneath all appearances of lack, waiting only for the door of your faith to swing open. Today we step into that river with serene certainty, for the wealth you seek already exists in the invisible. It is not something to chase, but something to allow, to receive, and to recognize as your divine inheritance. Money is not a cold and distant object. It is a gentle current of energy, ever willing to serve, to bless, and to multiply. It responds to clear thought, to unwavering belief, and to the magnetic power of expectation. As you settle into this meditation, you are not trying to make something happen. You are aligning with the truth that it already has happened in the unseen. The moment the desire was born within your heart, the answer was set in motion. Let your mind grow still as soft golden light gathers around you. In this sacred silence, you are no longer a seeker, you are a receiver. Imagine yourself standing before a great open door, a door that has always been yours. It does not resist you, it welcomes you. Beyond it is every resource, every opportunity, every unexpected channel through which money may come. It does not need to come from where you can see, it may rise from where you cannot imagine. The divine supply has no timetable, no struggle, no strain. It flows swiftly to the open mind, to the grateful heart, to the one who knows. And you, in this very moment, know. You are letting go of all belief in delay, in doubt, in difficulty. Those are shadows that vanish in the light of your word. Speak silently to yourself. All channels are open. All doors are unlocked. The wealth that is mine by divine right appears with grace and ease. Feel that word settle deeply into your consciousness. See it expand like a warm sun, melting away every sense of limitation. Money does not need to be earned through force. It comes through pure alignment, through the gentle certainty of your inner word. You are not commanding the world, you are commanding your own vibration, and the world, like a mirror, reflects it faithfully. Every leaf on every tree whispers abundance. Every breeze carries with it the promise of provision. As you breathe in, you inhale the certainty that unexpected money is already on its way. It may come through a gift, an opportunity, a forgotten source, or a new door that opens overnight. Divine intelligence has infinite ways to deliver it, ways far beyond the limits of reason. Now, rest in the assurance that it is done. This is not a wish. This is a decree spoken from the inner temple of your being. You are the vessel of divine opulence, and what you declare with faith must appear. Breathe deeply. Let the river of abundance find you, swiftly, easily, joyously. There is a silent power that moves through all things, a river of supply that never ceases, never weakens, and never denies those who truly align with it. This divine supply is not a distant promise, but a living reality, ever-present and limitless. It flows beneath every situation, waiting for recognition. It does not respond to fear, effort, or striving. It responds only to the calm certainty of faith and the clear vision of abundance. When the mind believes in lack, it builds walls that shut out the river. But when the mind knows supply as an eternal truth, those walls fall away like mist before the morning sun, and the current rushes in with a force that no circumstance can resist. Divine supply does not belong to a few, it belongs to all. It is the birthright of every soul, an inheritance written into the very fabric of existence. Just as air fills the lungs when one inhales, divine supply flows where it is expected. It does not ask permission, it does not withhold, it simply is. To those who see it, it is endless. To those who doubt, it appears hidden, but the supply has not changed, only perception has shifted. The moment you awaken to this truth, you cease to chase and begin to allow. The ceaseless activity of divine intelligence is always providing, always arranging, always moving resources toward those who stand in the consciousness of enough. Many believe supply is something earned or achieved through struggle, But that is an illusion born of limited thinking. Supply is not the effect of human labor alone. It is the natural expression of divine order. It finds its way through channels seen and unseen, through expected paths and surprising turns. It is never trapped, never scarce, never running out. Scarcity is a shadow cast by fear, but fear has no true power when faced with divine certainty. When a person realizes this, the world no longer appears as a field of competition, but as a vast garden of provision, each seed already containing the harvest. This river of supply does not judge worthiness. It does not measure credentials, effort, or time. It flows to the open, receptive heart. It is governed by spiritual law, and spiritual law operates without partiality. A seed planted in fertile soil will grow, whether it belongs to a rich man or a poor man. Likewise, the law of divine supply responds to consciousness, not circumstance. The moment a person declares, with full faith, that supply is theirs now, the universe begins its unseen movement to bring it forth in the perfect way. It may not follow the path the intellect expects, but it will arrive through the door that faith has opened. Divine supply is infinite. No event, no crisis, no human limitation can exhaust it. Like the ocean, it cannot be emptied by a single cup. Like the air, it cannot be hoarded or owned. The more one believes in its limitlessness, the more it reveals itself in daily life. Opportunities appear, channels widen, unexpected avenues open. This is not coincidence, it is the natural response of a universe that reflects consciousness. The soul that walks in abundance does not question where or how. It simply knows that what is needed will come, often in ways too perfect to have been planned by the human mind. Fear of lack is a mirage that vanishes when light is cast upon it. It whispers of separation from the source, but the source can never be separated from its creation. The same power that gives breath gives bread. The same intelligence that guides the stars guides the flow of provision to those who trust it. To rest in the awareness of divine supply is to step out of the restless current of doubt and into the still water of assurance. In that stillness, the heart begins to magnetize every good thing with effortless grace. People often look at their bank accounts, their jobs, or their outer conditions to determine what is possible. But these are not the source, they are only channels. The true source is invisible, infinite, and unfailing. A closed door in one place is nothing to divine supply, it simply finds another. The outer world bends itself around inner knowing. When the inner word is firm, the outer world has no choice but to obey. Wealth, opportunities, gifts, solutions, they rise like water finding the lowest point, flowing naturally where the mind is open to receive. To live in the awareness of divine supply is to no longer fear the unknown. You stop grasping, stop worrying, stop doubting. Instead, you begin to expect, and expectation is the language through which the universe speaks. Every breath becomes an affirmation of abundance. Every thought becomes a signal sent into the unseen, calling forth what already exists there. Nothing needs to be created from nothing. Everything is already present in the invisible storehouse of divine provision. Your task is not to make it happen, but to align with the law that governs its appearance. When a person knows this truth deeply, their energy shifts. They walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Their words carry quiet power because they are no longer begging, they are declaring. They do not ask for supply, they claim it. They no longer plead with the universe, they stand in their divine right. This posture of certainty dissolves delay because divine supply recognizes its own and rushes to meet it. Like a key turning effortlessly in a lock, faith opens the door. Nothing in the external world is truly fixed. What appears solid is only the temporary arrangement of substance around thought. Change the thought, and the arrangement shifts. This is why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly. It is not that they are lucky, but that they have learned to rest in the knowing of supply. They do not struggle to create abundance. They live as if it is already here, and because consciousness precedes form, form has no choice but to match it. This supply has no borders. It flows across time, across places, across circumstances. It may come through a business, a gift, a discovery, a forgotten opportunity, or an unexpected call. The how is not your work. The knowing is. To grasp at methods is to limit the river. To rest in the truth of its limitlessness is to let it find its perfect way to you. What belongs to you by divine right cannot be withheld. What is truly yours moves toward you with speed and grace when your mind no longer blocks it with disbelief. The divine supply is as real as the ground beneath your feet, as constant as the rising sun. It does not need to be created, only received. And it will always be received by the one who knows that its nature is abundance, its language is faith, and its reach is infinite. Faith is the key that turns the invisible into the visible, the formless into form, the distant into the immediate. It is not a fragile hope or a trembling wish. It is a calm and steadfast knowing, a silent inner decree that what is desired is already moving toward you. Faith does not chase, it does not plead, it does not question. Faith expects, and in that expectation the unseen channels of wealth begin to stir. Like a seed planted in rich soil, faith does its work in silence, beneath the surface, where eyes cannot see, but the law never sleeps. When faith is steady, doors that were once invisible swing open as if they had been waiting for the touch of belief all along. Faith is the language through which divine supply hears and responds. It is not about how much you can do, but how much you can trust the invisible law that governs all creation. Wealth is not drawn by anxiety, by worry, or by desperation. It is drawn by the unwavering signal of inner certainty. The universe does not respond to need, it responds to conviction. When your heart says with quiet authority, "It is mine now," the unseen begins to arrange itself in perfect order. Opportunities that once seemed distant are pulled closer. Ideas rise in your mind like golden threads, and unexpected sources emerge to meet the decree that faith has already written. Many look for evidence before they believe, but faith works in the opposite way. Faith believes first, and then evidence appears. To wait for proof is to remain outside the gate. To stand in faith is to step inside and claim the inheritance already prepared. Faith opens channels that logic cannot comprehend. It is not limited by time, distance, or circumstance. It reaches through walls, crosses oceans, shifts hearts, rearranges events, and finds pathways where none appeared to exist. It is the unseen hand that moves resources, aligns opportunities, and whispers into the currents of the world. Make way. When faith is pure, it has no tremor. It does not glance backward to measure progress, nor forward to question timing. It lives in the now, and in the now, everything is already complete. This is why wealth comes so swiftly to those who stand firm in their inner knowing. They do not concern themselves with appearances, for appearances are shadows that bend beneath the weight of true faith. A barren field, in the eyes of doubt, becomes a flourishing garden in the eyes of faith, because faith sees the harvest long before the sprout breaks the soil. The channels through which unexpected money may flow are infinite. Faith is the gentle force that opens these channels and clears the way. It is not the outer act that matters most, it is the inner stance. A single word spoken in absolute faith carries more creative power than 1,000 actions taken in fear. A single thought held in unwavering certainty can shift the current of events faster than all the restless striving in the world. Faith does not require struggle, for it knows that the law of abundance moves in perfect order when trusted fully. When a person walks in faith, their energy changes. There is no more clinging, no more frantic reaching, no more doubt gnawing at the edges of desire. There is calm. There is clarity. There is the quiet assurance of someone who has already received in spirit what has yet to appear in form. This assurance acts like a magnet. It pulls the right people, the right opportunities, the right timing into alignment. It does not beg, it allows. It does not force, it receives. The universe responds to this frequency with precision. for faith is the true command that creation obeys. Faith opens the door to unexpected wealth because it refuses to be limited by expected sources. The mind may try to calculate how money can appear, but faith looks beyond calculation. It allows divine intelligence to choose the path, and divine intelligence always chooses the swiftest, most perfect way. Money may appear through a forgotten account, a sudden gift, a new idea, a favorable turn of events, or a door that swings open seemingly out of nowhere. Faith does not care how, it only knows that it will. It is this knowing that makes the impossible seem effortless. Doubt is the thief that tries to cloud the vision of faith. It whispers of delays, difficulties, and impossibilities. But doubt has no true power when faith is firm. The moment faith is declared, the movement begins in the unseen. Every second of hesitation does not cancel this movement. It simply delays recognition. But unwavering faith stands like a lighthouse, unmoved by the storm. It calls the supply home. It keeps the channels open. It refuses to let appearances dictate the truth. In this refusal lies tremendous power. Faith does not require proof to exist. It creates the proof. When one believes without wavering, the universe bends itself to match the vibration of that belief. This is not imagination, it is law. Every thought held in unwavering faith sets forces in motion that cannot be reversed except by doubt itself. The timing may be hidden, the method may be unknown, but the arrival is certain. This is why the one who truly believes rests peacefully while the world around them rushes and worries. They know what others merely hope. In matters of wealth, faith dissolves the illusion of scarcity. It knows that abundance is ever present and simply waits for the right signal to flow. It does not need to strain or fight for it. Faith is like opening a dam and letting the river pour through. The moment you say with complete assurance, "The supply I need comes to me now," you give permission for that river to flow. It is not coming from somewhere else. It is already here, waiting for the gate of faith to be lifted. People often speak of miracles, but what is called a miracle is simply the natural result of unshaken faith. To the doubting, it seems sudden and mysterious. To the believing, it is expected and inevitable. Faith carries its own certainty. It needs no explanation, no justification, no pleading. It simply stands. And in standing, it commands the invisible to become visible. This is why those who move in faith seem to live in effortless flow. They are not pulling the river, they are opening the channel. The beauty of faith is that it requires no evidence, no special qualifications, no perfect timing. It can be declared at any moment. The instant it is truly accepted, it begins its work. It does not matter what came before, what was lost, or what was delayed. Faith can open channels where there were none. It can turn a closed door into an open passage. It can transform a forgotten idea into a source of unexpected wealth. It has no limits except the ones placed upon it by doubt. To live in faith is to walk with quiet authority. It is to speak with power, even when nothing in the outer world has yet changed. It is to trust so deeply that appearances bend beneath your certainty. It is to know that unexpected money does not come by chance, but by the exact and unfailing response of divine law to a firm inner word. This is the nature of faith. It opens channels that the mind could never design, and it does so with grace, with speed, and with perfect order. Zeluatheragameo magnet is the silent magnet that draws wealth without strain, without resistance, without endless pursuit. It is the state in which the inner world and the outer world become harmonious, where thought, word, and expectation move in the same rhythm as the divine flow. When a person is aligned, they do not chase after abundance, they allow it. They do not command the world with force, they guide it with quiet certainty. Alignment is not about trying harder, it is about becoming a perfect match for what already exists in the invisible realm. Everything you seek is already present, waiting for your vibration to match its frequency. To align is to step out of struggle and into trust. It is to release the frantic energy that pushes things away and replace it with the calm assurance that draws things in. When the mind is anxious, fearful, or desperate, It vibrates out of harmony with the abundance that surrounds it. But when the mind is still, clear, and receptive, it becomes like a tuned instrument, resonating with wealth, opportunity, and flow. Alignment is not a future state to be achieved through effort. It is a present state to be allowed. It begins the moment you let go of resistance and step into the certainty of your divine inheritance. Money is not lured by force, it is attracted by vibration. When your inner state is aligned with plenty, plenty cannot help but find you. When your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are all pointing toward lack, then no amount of outer effort can create lasting prosperity. This is why some work tirelessly and still struggle, while others seem to receive with ease. The difference is not in action alone, but in alignment. A single inspired action, taken from a place of alignment, carries more power than 1,000 desperate efforts taken in fear. True alignment does not mean pretending or forcing positive thoughts over doubt. It is a deep inner settling, a natural recognition that abundance is the truth and scarcity is the illusion. When you are aligned, your energy is steady. You do not glance anxiously toward the clock. You do not question whether the supply will appear. You know it is already on its way, and because of this knowing, you open every unseen channel for it to reach you swiftly and effortlessly. The universe is like a mirror, reflecting not what you wish, but what you are in vibration. When you align with wealth, wealth reflects itself back through circumstances, people, and events. It can come through channels you expect or through those you never imagined. Alignment allows divine intelligence to choose the path. It stops trying to control and instead begins to trust. And trust, in this invisible law, is the golden bridge between desire and manifestation. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every feeling you hold is like a note in a symphony. When those notes are dissonant, when you desire abundance but believe in lack, the music is confused and manifestation hesitates. But when the notes harmonize, when your inner song sings only of ease, certainty, and worthiness, the outer world plays the same melody. Alignment is not shouting at the universe, it is whispering in perfect harmony with it. To align with abundance is to align with ease. There is no grasping, no pushing, no bargaining. There is only allowing. You begin to expect the best without needing to see how it will unfold. You walk as if what you desire is already here, not out of pretense, but because you know the law is unchanging. This knowing is quiet, but it is powerful. It draws money not with hands that grasp, but with a presence that magnetizes. Many believe that hard work alone creates wealth, but true abundance is born of inner alignment. Action is valuable, but aligned action is irresistible. When your inner world matches the frequency of abundance, the right actions come naturally, without strain. Doors open without knocking, paths clear without pushing. People appear without chasing. It is not about doing more, it is about doing from a place of harmony. When you are aligned, time bends in your favor. What once seemed to take months can unfold in hours. What seemed distant becomes immediate. The flow of unexpected wealth is not slowed by logic or by circumstance, because alignment does not operate within the confines of logic. It moves with divine intelligence, which always finds the swiftest and most graceful way to deliver. Resistance is the only real obstacle to wealth, and alignment is its perfect opposite. Resistance says, "I don't have. It's too hard. It can't happen." Alignment says, "It is already mine. It flows easily. It is inevitable." The energy of resistance blocks the river. The energy of alignment removes the dam. Money flows where it is welcomed, not where it is chased. Alignment is the act of becoming that open, welcoming space. To align is to drop the weight of control. It is to no longer worry about how the wealth will come. The how is the work of divine intelligence, not the burden of the human mind. Your work is to hold the vibration of already having, to live in the feeling of ease, to breathe as if the river of abundance has already arrived at your door. When you do this, the unseen begins to orchestrate perfectly timed movements. A message arrives, a chance meeting occurs, a forgotten source is remembered, and the wealth appears in perfect order. Alignment also requires trust in timing. It does not force the door open before it is ready. It knows the door is already opening behind the curtain. This trust is not passive. It is a living, breathing energy that keeps you steady and receptive. It does not fidget with doubt or grasp at every possibility. It waits in serene certainty, and that certainty pulls the manifestation closer. When you align, you no longer live in two worlds, the world of desire and the world of lack. You live in one world, the world of fulfillment. Your words begin to reflect this new state. You no longer speak of wanting, you speak of receiving. You no longer speak of waiting, you speak of welcoming. Your tone softens, your presence shifts, your vibration strengthens. People and opportunities respond to this without knowing why. This is the quiet, unshakable power of alignment. Every great manifestation begins not with striving, but with alignment. It is the seedbed from which everything grows. You cannot plant a seed in dry, cracked soil and expect a swift harvest. But plant it in rich, aligned soil, and the sprout breaks through with ease. The invisible responds to the state of the inner world. If the inner world sings of ease, abundance flows like water to its source. If the inner world hums with doubt, the flow hesitates. Alignment clears the frequency and opens the gates. Alignment is not an effortful practice. It is a gentle returning to what is already true. Abundance was never absent. It is simply revealed the moment the noise of resistance falls silent. It is like tuning a radio to the right station. The music was always there. You simply adjust yourself to hear it. In the same way, when you align with wealth, you tune into the frequency of supply that has been flowing all along. This state of harmony is powerful because it does not demand, it assumes. It does not chase after money. It lives in the certainty that money is already surrounding it, ready to appear in the most perfect and effortless ways. Alignment does not wait with restless impatience. It rests in the knowing that divine timing is precise. And in this state of perfect harmony, abundance cannot help but flow, because you and it have become the same song. To speak your decree with unwavering certainty is to send a clear command into the invisible, a command that the universe must obey because it recognizes the authority of faith. Words are not idle sounds drifting into empty air. They are living forces, shaping substance, carving pathways, summoning what is unseen into what is seen. Every word carries weight, but a word spoken with absolute conviction carries the weight of creation itself. It does not ask, it does not hope, it declares. It speaks not as one who waits for permission, but as one who knows their divine right to receive. The decree is the point where thought becomes sound and sound becomes form. When spoken with doubt, a decree is a whisper easily lost in the wind, but when spoken with certainty, it is like a hammer striking the foundation of reality, causing the unseen to rearrange itself around the spoken word. Certainty is the power behind the decree. It is the difference between begging and commanding, between hoping and knowing. The universe listens not to the volume of the voice, but to the vibration beneath it. When you speak with unwavering certainty, you speak as if what you desire is already here. There is no tremor, no hesitation, no questioning tone. The word is final, and reality must follow. This is not arrogance, it is alignment with divine law. The law responds to clear instruction. It is never confused, never uncertain, never delayed when the decree is absolute. Like a well-trained instrument, it responds precisely to the note played. A wavering note brings a wavering result. A steady note creates swift manifestation. Many speak their desires with hope, and hope, though gentle, is not command. Hope waits, decree acts. Hope stands at the door, unsure if it will open. Decree turns the handle and walks through. The difference lies in the energy. When you decree with certainty, you are not asking for what might come. You are affirming what must come. The moment the decree is spoken with faith, the unseen begins to move. channels begin to shift and events begin to align. The outer world is simply following the blueprint your word has set in motion. The power of your decree does not come from the complexity of your words, but from the strength of your belief. A single, simple statement spoken with unwavering faith has more creative power than 1,000 elaborate affirmations mumbled with doubt. The law responds not to ornament, but to conviction. A clear, firm decree is like a key turning in a lock. It fits, it clicks, it opens. The invisible forces do not argue with certainty, they obey it. When you decree abundance, speak it as an already accomplished fact. Speak as one who has seen beyond the veil. Speak as one who knows that what is spoken in the inner world is already taking form in the outer. The energy of certainty is magnetic. It draws wealth, opportunity, and provision like iron to a lodestone. When your word does not waver, the flow does not falter. When your declaration stands firm, the universe rearranges itself around that firmness. The power of spoken word has been known across time because it is not mere language but vibration. Everything responds to vibration. When you speak with certainty, your vibration aligns with what you speak, and the world echoes it back. It is like casting a stone into a still lake. The ripples move outward, touching everything. But when your word is weak or uncertain, the stone barely breaks the surface, and the ripple fades before it reaches the shore. This is why the unwavering word is essential. It creates ripples strong enough to return as manifested form. Doubt is the only force that weakens a decree. Doubt turns the clear note into a broken chord. It sends mixed signals into the unseen, and mixed signals bring delayed or distorted results. When you speak a decree, it must be final. You must close the door on all contrary thoughts. The decree is the seal upon your desire. It is the moment the matter is settled. The universe moves swiftly when it receives a settled command. Speaking your decree with certainty is not about shouting louder than your fears. It is about standing taller than them. It is about letting your inner knowing be stronger than the voice of hesitation. When your inner world is anchored in the truth of abundance, your outer words flow with a quiet, unshakable authority. It is this authority that moves mountains, opens doors, and calls wealth from unexpected places. Every decree is a seed, and the certainty with which it is spoken is the soil in which it grows. If the soil is shallow, the seed struggles. If the soil is rich and firm, the seed breaks forth with power. Words spoken once with complete faith are stronger than words repeated endlessly with no conviction. The repetition of a weak decree does not strengthen it, only belief does. One decree spoken in absolute certainty can reorder an entire chain of events. Your decree is not a request to the world outside you, it is a command to the creative forces within you. These forces are not distant, they are not reluctant, they are waiting for your clarity. When you decree with unwavering certainty, you give them form, shape, and direction. You no longer leave your desire floating in possibility, you anchor it into inevitability. The decree is the anchor, and certainty is the weight that holds it steady. To decree is to take ownership of your word. It is to speak with the voice of one who understands their creative power. When you declare, "Wealth flows to me now," you are not describing a wish. You are setting a law in motion. The law does not question whether you are worthy. It does not measure your past. It responds only to the vibration of your certainty. This is why hesitation must be released. Hesitation blurs the signal, certainty sharpens it like a blade. The spoken decree is also a boundary. It tells the universe what you will accept and what you will not. When you speak with power, you close the door to lack and open the door to abundance. The energy behind your words becomes a wall through which no contrary condition can pass. Those who decree with true authority do not plead with circumstances, they direct them. They do not wait for external approval. They know the law moves the moment they speak. The decree must also be felt, not just uttered. The feeling is the breath of the word. When you feel what you speak, when your whole being stands behind the decree, it becomes a living command. Words without feeling are like arrows without a bow, they fall short. But words infused with certainty and emotion pierce through every resistance. The combination of firm word and deep feeling creates an irresistible force. To speak your decree with unwavering certainty is to walk in the authority of divine law. It is to trust so completely that no external evidence can shake your inner knowing. It is to speak as if the thing has already happened, because in the realm of spirit, it already has. The outer world simply takes time to mirror it. But the decree stands unbothered, unshaken, unyielding, and because it does not waver, the world must eventually bow to it. When you speak your decree, you are writing on the unseen canvas of creation. Each word is a stroke of the brush, and certainty is the hand that does not tremble. There is no room for hesitation in this sacred act. The invisible does not need convincing, it needs clear instruction. Speak once with unwavering power, and that word travels outward, touching everything necessary to bring its image into form. The universe moves around it like iron filings around a magnet. The decree is not a ritual of desperation. It is a ceremony of knowing. It is the moment when you stop asking and begin commanding. It is the turning point between wishing and receiving. And when it is spoken with unwavering certainty, it sets in motion forces that do not rest until the word is fulfilled. Abundance flows swiftly to a receptive heart because the receptive heart is an open door, not a closed gate. It does not struggle, it does not resist. It does not question whether it is worthy of receiving. It simply receives. The flow of abundance has never stopped. What often stops is the openness to allow it in. The heart that is tense with fear, guilt, or doubt builds invisible walls. The heart that is soft, trusting, and willing allows wealth to enter through unexpected and graceful channels. Receiving is not about effort, it is about openness. A receptive heart does not demand, it welcomes. It does not chase opportunities, it becomes a space in which opportunities arrive. When the heart is open, abundance finds it naturally, like water flowing downhill to the lowest and most ready place. The universe does not force its gifts upon the unwilling. It seeks the ready, the receptive, the unguarded space where its treasures can rest. To become receptive is to stop struggling with the how and to trust the law of supply to work in perfect order. Wealth does not flow to the clenched fist or the guarded heart. It flows to the one who has learned to open their inner hands. The receptive heart carries no fear of loss, for it knows that abundance is infinite. It does not cling to what it has, nor does it grieve what it believes is missing. It stands quietly in the awareness that what belongs to it by divine right cannot be withheld. This quiet trust creates a magnetic pull that draws unexpected money, unexpected blessings, and unexpected opportunities from every direction. Receptivity is not weakness. It is power in its purest form. It is the stillness that allows the wind to fill the sail, the silence that lets the music be heard, the empty space that receives the river. A heart cluttered with fear and scarcity thoughts leaves no room for the flow to enter, but a heart cleared of those shadows becomes the perfect vessel. When you open your heart to receive, you align yourself with the natural rhythm of abundance. The flow is always ready. It is the receiver that must be prepared. To be receptive is to believe without resistance. It is to trust the process, to trust the timing, and to trust the infinite intelligence that orchestrates supply. The receptive heart does not whisper how, because it knows the how is not its work. Its only work is to allow. It lets divine intelligence choose the channel, the timing, the form, and because it does not interfere, the flow comes swiftly. Delay is often not in the source, but in the blockages built by resistance. The receptive heart carries gratitude as its silent language. Gratitude is not only a response to what has come, but also a signal that calls forth more. Gratitude says, "I am ready," even before the evidence appears. It turns the unseen into the inevitable. A heart filled with gratitude has already opened its gates to abundance. It has made space for wealth to arrive. It has created the right frequency that abundance cannot resist. And when the heart is closed, it doubts its own worthiness. It questions whether good can truly come easily. This doubt slows the flow, but the moment the heart decides it is worthy, not because of action or achievement, but simply because abundance is its natural inheritance, the river begins to rush. It does not trickle, it pours. Worthiness is not earned, it is recognized. The receptive heart recognizes it without hesitation. A receptive heart does not hold conditions. It does not say, "I will believe when I see." It says, "I believe, and therefore I will see." This shift in consciousness opens doors that seemed locked and windows that were hidden. It allows the flow to bypass logic and come through unexpected channels. Money, opportunity, blessings, and solutions often appear not because they were created in that moment, but because the heart finally allowed them to be seen. Receptivity is deeply connected to trust. Trust is the bridge that allows abundance to cross into your experience. Without trust, fear builds a dam. With trust, the dam breaks. The receptive heart does not measure the size of its request against the size of its current circumstance. It knows the universe does not calculate limits. It knows that the source is infinite, and that receiving is simply the act of opening the gate. When a heart is truly receptive, there is no effort in its receiving. It does not strain or strive. It stands in a quiet knowing that abundance is on its way. And this knowing itself is the magnet. It draws wealth not because it begs, but because it allows. Just as a flower opens its petals to the sun without forcing the light to shine, the receptive heart opens and lets abundance pour in. The receptive heart also releases the need to control timing. It does not stand at the door, tapping its foot, wondering why the delivery has not yet come. It rests in the certainty that divine timing is precise and unfailing. This restfulness creates no friction. It keeps the channel wide open. The moment the heart lets go of the anxious grip of impatience, the flow speeds up. It is never time that delays abundance. It is resistance that does. An open heart also carries the energy of expectancy. Expectancy is not wishful thinking. It is the quiet assumption that good is already moving toward you. It is like setting the table before the guests arrive. It is preparing the space because you know the arrival is certain. The receptive heart expects abundance the way one expects the sun to rise. Not with strain, not with doubt, but with quiet, unwavering assurance. The energy of receptivity has no fear of the unknown. It does not cling to the familiar or try to dictate the path. It trusts that the flow will find the best way. It understands that wealth can arrive through channels both visible and invisible. It may come through a gift, an idea, a meeting, a forgotten resource, or a door that opens unexpectedly. The receptive heart does not need to know how. It only needs to stay open. This openness is not passive. It is a powerful creative stance. When you are receptive, your energy broadcasts a signal to the universe that says, "I am ready now." That readiness is what pulls the flow toward you like gravity. It is not forced attraction, it is natural attraction. Just as rivers flow to the sea, abundance flows to the heart that is ready to receive it. The receptive heart also forgives. Forgiveness clears the inner space of old blockages. Grievances, regrets, and resentments act like stones in the river, slowing the current. But when the heart releases them, the river flows freely. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing. It is about clearing space for more. It is an act of opening, of making room for what is waiting to arrive. Receptivity also means releasing fear of having. Some unconsciously block abundance because they fear responsibility, judgment, or change. The receptive heart lets go of those fears. It welcomes wealth not with suspicion, but with joy. It knows that abundance is not a burden, it is a blessing. It does not apologize for receiving. It does not shrink from it. It stands tall, open, and grateful. A receptive heart understands that giving and receiving are two sides of the same flow. Those who cannot receive often block the cycle entirely. To truly receive is to allow the universe to complete its circle. It is to honor the law of circulation. Just as breath must flow in and out, so too must abundance. The receptive heart allows the inflow with as much grace as it allows the outflow. Abundance flows swiftly to a receptive heart because receptivity removes the weight that slows everything down. It removes doubt, fear, and the illusion of unworthiness. It opens space for the law of supply to operate without resistance. And when that space is clear, wealth rushes in like water through an open gate. The river was always flowing, the heart simply needed to let it in.